I've seen a lot of families that are experiencing depression and a lot of helplessness and hopelessness. They're coming in just really not being able to see that light at the end of the tunnel and really coming in more of a crisis situation. Back in February, this family had been affected by the flood. Because they were in the basement and here in town, a lot of our streets were flooded, their whole apartment was flooded. And so they had all of their savings in cash. So everything, the monies, everything was completely destroyed, their furnishings. And because this was in technically legal dwelling that they were living in, they didn't qualify for any of the funding that was being offered through our county. And so they had already been living in the street for the past 3-4 days, actually in their car with a 1-year-old. They had no food for that day. They didn't know where they were going to sleep that night. Thankfully, through the very direct hands-on approach that we were doing in our service delivery, we were able to get the family and some of our funding. We were able to pay for a hotel for 3 nights for them. But one of the things that, in this case, particularly the dad, responded back to me was, well, if I work, I have to take the car, and then where's my child and the mom gonna stay all day long while I work? So it's kind of like, what's more important? And these are the type of situations that we are facing almost on the daily in different circumstances. And so it's caused us to be very creative. So we're still working with the family. There's still a lot of different needs. They were able to get the hotel vouchers, and then we're working with them also to get into a family shelter and working through that whole process.
I love getting to know all of my clients. Every single one of them has something new for me to learn. So there's a great need for senior mental health due to the pandemic. It kind of snowballed after everything shut down and our seniors became more isolated. A particular client, a senior client, called and was so upset that their significant other wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. The role that they had taken on their whole life, they were no longer doing, and they were just fed up. Come to find out that the wife had a neurodegenerative disease that wouldn't allow her to do the things that she was once able to do. And although her heart, she wanted to do those things, she couldn't. And so she shut down and didn't want to talk. And so marital issues were happening with this elderly couple who very much needed someone as a sounding board to say, hey, you guys are going through a transformation, a metamorphosis, a grief cycle. What I came to realize, it's not that they lacked the education, it's that they really dug their heels in because they didn't want what they knew to be true to change. They wanted their wife to be that same person that they lived with for 30 years. And so what you have to do is you have to tell them things are different, but the love is there. That love transforms, and it'll get you through this. But that partner needed support, and we needed a game plan together. And that was my work. And eventually that person passed away, because that's just what happens with neurodegenerative diseases. But that work is still there. And that work that family did, I am so proud of.
Sadly, our young people are struggling with multiple traumas, especially in these last 3 years. Huge plates of problems come into our office. They say they're depressed, they're angry, they've been sexually assaulted. There's divorce, there's grief, huge loss. Eating disorder and cutting are common. Really troubled kids. These are the symptoms of the trauma, and then we help lead them through the darkness and come into the light.
A lot of the issues right now are social issues. Due to COVID, a lot of the children are transitioning back to school. The transition back to school has been very difficult for some youth to try and make friends again and just be back in the swing of things. So a lot of what we get is social anxiety, depression related to not having friends or not going to school regularly.
So I'm often that first contact. I can bridge between hope and hopelessness and grief and processing grief. And it is remarkable, even within one session, the fulfillment that I feel when I see the change beginning. We're the entrance and the access to remarkable changes.
Is little things that helps these kids to be more normal, to be part of society, you know, to not feel like they need somebody else to tell them that they're different and they can't do this. So being able to see the kids just be normal kids is overall one of the best things.
I see that student cross a graduation, and I look and I see the families clapping, and I know how far they've come. And when you know how hurt they were when they arrived, and then you see them meeting that one goal was, I really want to graduate high school. You're like a proud parent. You're so happy and joyful for them. I don't know that families in our community or community members have any knowledge of how vast and how much of a resource we are. And when you contact one family service agency employee, you are connected to a huge amount of resource. And the gifts that we give to the community by being present are immense.